Pennsylvania Files. Pennsylvania has a wild man no surviving photograph shows. No skeleton, no name on a tombstone. Just old tellings from 1838 and a creek called the Octoraro.
Oh, great. Another hairy guy in the woods. Let me guess. Arthur, Pennsylvania, 1830-something, somebody saw something.
Here's what we know. In the late 1830s, farmers along the Octoraro Creek started telling each other something walked the ridge above the water, something that wasn't supposed to be there. The name Octoraro comes from a Susquehannock word for rushing waters. It's 22 miles of creek, cutting south through Lancaster County, joining the Susquehanna right at the Maryland line. And above it rises Welsh Mountain, over 1,000 feet, the ridge between Lancaster and Chester. In 1838, almost nobody had cleared it. If you wanted to vanish in southeastern Pennsylvania, this was the corridor.
Right. So this is the part where the farmers see hair in the bushes and decide it's a monster. Not a guy. Not somebody's runaway uncle. A monster!
Here's the thing. Between 1830 and the 1920s, Pennsylvania newspapers ran hundreds of these. Hairy figures, goosequill cries, bodies found and then lost again. A folklorist named Timothy Renner went paper by paper, decade by decade, cataloged them in his book Bigfoot in Pennsylvania. Renner's earliest commonly cited account is dated 1838, though that one came out of Bridgewater Township way up in the Poconos, not the Octoraro. Same year, though. Same phrase entering print. Old Lancaster County tellings hold that the Octoraro wild man wore a real face, or at least the lineage did. There was a hermit on Welsh Mountain. His name was William Wilson, born around 1762, sometimes called Amos Wilson in later printings. The story goes he lived on the ridge above the Octoraro headwaters, sparsely settled, heavily forested, the kind of place where a man couldn't be found if he didn't want to be. Wilson's hermitage didn't start with a cave. It started with a sister, Elizabeth Wilson. In 1785, she was sentenced to hang at Chester, Pennsylvania. William rode to Philadelphia, got Elizabeth a pardon from Pennsylvania's vice president, Charles Biddle, and rode back. He arrived minutes too late. She was already dead.
Oh, that's actually awful. He rode all that way. Minutes. Yeah, okay. I get why he went to a cave.
After Elizabeth's hanging, Wilson disappeared. For 19 years. 1802 until his death in 1821, he lived underground. Not on Welsh Mountain anymore. A cave 40 miles north, Indian Echo Caverns, near Hummelstown, Dauphin County. But the pamphlet that documents his life calls him by his older name, the Hermit of Welsh Mountain. In 1839, 1 year after our Octoraro anchor, Smith and Carpenter of Philadelphia printed a 24-page pamphlet about Wilson's life. The frontispiece shows him bearded, standing before a tree. The title page vignette shows his sisters hanging, and the words on the cover, the Hermit of Welsh Mountain.
Wait, so there's a documented hermit on Welsh Mountain. Lived underground, died 17 years before the Octoraro wild man shows up in print. And nobody ever writes, hey, didn't this guy live here first? Convenient.
20 years after our anchor, December 1858, the Lancaster Intelligencer ran a story that traveled the country, and I'm quoting, a thing like a man, but hairy as a bear. Seen in a pen, sucking milk from a farmer's cows. Witnesses said when it was discovered, it started as if to fight, then turned and fled, bounding like a deer. Then 1874, Parkesburg, Chester County, right on the Octoraro-corridor. The September 23rd Lancaster Intelligencer Journal reported the capture of 2 wild men, one over 6 feet, dark-skinned with notably large hands and feet, the other shorter, stocky, both produced, quoting, strange unearthly cries, liquid to blowing through a goose quill, and rumors placed a larger creature deeper on the Welsh mountains, heading for Morgantown during chestnut season.
Blowing through a goose quill. Wait, that's actually a specific sound. Like you can hear it in your head right now. A hairy guy in the woods making a hollow whistle. Okay, that one's actually creepy.
Welsh Mountain became something. Through the 1800s, it earned a reputation as a haven for outliers, runaways, deserters, escaped enslaved people moving on the Underground Railroad through the Octoraro-corridor, religious eccentrics, accused criminals, and any one of them, glimpsed at a distance through a tree line, could become a story. A hairy man, a wild man, a monster the newspaper could name. The Octoraro wild man isn't a body. He isn't a photograph. He's a paragraph in a paper somebody folded into a coat pocket, walking home along a creek at dusk. And the only place he lives, the only place he ever lived, is in the words. The truth is out there. Stay tuned.